Welcome to Wellness. We are going to do a little workout seated and or lying down on the mat with some different options. So pick and choose what works for you. We're going to reach our hands out right by our knees and just tip forward a little bit with a long spine. And we'll just start with a rowing movement. We're doing this without weight, so it could be your warm-up. And what we're doing here is drawing the elbows back, hands come right beside the waist, and you want to feel the muscles between the shoulder blades contracting. Now, as you do this with weight, we want to keep all of this alignment just the same. Okay, we'll do 2 more. And 1 more, and we'll leave the arms forward, the body slightly forward. We're going to take the arms out to the sides, about even with the shoulders. Just a little lateral raise. If you have any joint issues, elbows, wrists, shoulders, then you can shorten your lever and make this lateral raise a little bit smaller. Okay? All of these exercises can still be performed without the weight, but we're going to pick those up in just a moment. We've got just 2 more of these and 1 more. And now all we're going to do is just bring it into a couple of shrugs, sit tall. If you need to give a little twist to each side, getting the body ready. My suggestion is start with a light set of weights. You can always go heavier. And what we'll start with is that row. So we're hinging a little bit at the hip. If you're feeling like you want to challenge yourself, this can, of course, be done standing. So we're doing this slightly bent over row. And I say slight because you don't have to go completely flat. You can pitch forward in the chair or go from a standing alignment, whichever you choose. We'll do 4 more, using the breath, trying to spend as much time reaching forward as we do drawing back. And here's that last one. We're going to go ahead and allow the arms to stay down, and we'll do that lateral raise with a little hinge forward. Again, you may choose to do this standing. Standing could be your progression. Good, and you should feel the shoulders when you're doing this exercise, as well as the muscles of the upper back and a little bit around the mid back as well. We'll do 2 more. And here's that last one. And now right from this position, we're going to bring ourselves to an actual moving row. So your hands are going to feel like they're hanging down by your sides. You're going to reach forward and pull back. Reach forward and pull back. Now I am in the chair still. However, if you wanted to bring this down to the mat and make this a little bit more core work, you could bring it into this position. We've got 4 more of these. And 3. And 2. And 1 more time. So we're starting to feel pretty warm here, and we could add a little bit more weight if we were feeling like we want to, and the arms can come out. Seated in the chair, seated on the floor, you're going to pull the weight into the waistline, rotate, and hinge back. So now it's really into the core, and we're rotating and rowing simultaneously. If you have back issues, just want to keep it as a alternating 1-arm row. And if it's feeling like it's bothering any joints, you can stick with that lighter weight. We'll do just a couple more here. And right from this position, we'll bring ourselves all the way down. Now there are exercises that I will demonstrate with the chair or from a standing position, but we're going to drop all the way down onto the mat, bringing the elbows out to the sides, and just a little bench press here. And it really depends on what you've got for dumbbells. A couple of cans of soup will work. You want to make sure they're equal weights if you don't happen to have hand weights. And as you're doing these exercises, you'll notice that my elbows barely tap down to the floor. It's really the back of my upper arm, and then I go right back up. My palms are facing forward. I am not flexing my wrists. Okay? And we're going to go 1 more time. Keep the weight up. Turn the weights towards one another. take a moment to reach back. Now, as you're reaching back, and this is why I like this one on the floor, you're going to notice if your lower ribs are in contact with the mat. So we don't want to feel like we pop up through the spine. Arms go back. Maybe you separate the weights. That's going to challenge you in one way, but accommodate you in another. We exhale and draw it back up. All right, this could be your exercise, but you know, I always like to give you options. So maybe we extend one leg and we lift that leg even with the opposite thigh for extra core work. So we're getting the most out of the time we spend, taking a quick break to work out, get a little movement going, clear our mind, oxygenate that brain. Let's go ahead and hold this one here and bend. And we're going to take those arms and do a pectoral fly now. So we already did a bench press. Super important that you're mindful of where your arms are. It shouldn't hurt to return towards the ceiling. So if you get out here and it feels like it's too far, shorten your range of motion. And if a pectoral fly just is not for you, you can always do another set of your bench press. And so I'm giving you several different exercises for the chest and back, variations, modifications, different positions. And if you find that not all of these suit you, you can repeat the ones that do for 2, 3, or 4 sets. And we're doing about 10 of each. One more time. Okay, we'll take that pull over again, adding the leg if you wish. Keeping control, so if you're feeling strain in the back with this, you go right back to the original variation. Back of the neck is long, breath is constant. Two more. One more. And from here, we're going to bring ourselves all the way up. Okay, so we'll turn over onto our hands and our knees. But if being down here on the hands and knees isn't really for you, this can be done from the chair. So we can put our hands on the chair like so, and we're going to go back to our rowing exercise. It's a one-arm row, and you're here. Okay, but if that doesn't work for you, or you want to be on the floor, here you are on the floor, and we can, of course, increase the effort by changing the angle, so now you're getting a little bit more core with this. Two more here. One more here. Placing that weight in the center, switching to the other side. And of course, you could be on more of a tabletop or in more of a tabletop position. And of course, you could stand up as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch into a plank position. And if you are uncomfortable on your hands, then I'll invite you to come down to the forearms. If you're uncomfortable going to a full plank, keep your knees down. And of course, we can use our friend the chair and plank from there. So the flatter you are towards the floor, the more demanding this becomes. And we want to find a place where you can be. This could even be done up against the wall. Okay? So here's your plank. And if you're planking really well, you can come to some push-ups, either here or on the floor. And if push-ups are not an option, go back to a chest press or a pectoral fly. So you have options to do both. And just in case you're a person who's feeling really spunky, you can take one foot off the floor every time you go down. Okay? Then we'll sink back and take a little stretch. And we'll roll up through the spine, taking one foot forward, hands back, hips pressed down. Your hands are here just to open the chest and shoulders. You can slide those hands back or even interlace the hands. If this does not work for you down here on the floor, you're going to go ahead and do this chest stretch from a seated position, and we'll change to the second side. But I like to always spend a little time opening up the hip flexors. Open up the chest and shoulders, or you can open up this way. And then we'll come on back, and there you have it. A quick workout, chest and back, from many different planes of movement, with or without weight, light, heavy, whatever your body is capable of. Take the time to jump into what works for you. Remember, something's always better than nothing.